chocolate chunk cookies. Not anyone's chocolate chunk cookies, but Thomas Keller's chocolate chunk cookies. Who is Thomas Keller? A very, very famous chef. He's received numerous awards, and I encourage you to look him up because, of course, this information will be on a quiz and just for your own edification. So he put together this chocolate chunk cookie recipe that I think will change your life. Okay? So it starts out very similar to how any type of chocolate chip cookie would start. Okay, so we're creaming our butter, and this time we have two sugars. We have dark brown sugar, and we also have white sugar. Dark brown sugar, the brown sugar has molasses in it. The dark brown has a little bit more molasses in it. It'll give you more caramelization, and will also give you a little bit more complexity of flavor. So I've already creamed my butter and sugars here. As you can see, they're pale and light and fluffy. The thing with the chocolate chunk cookie or chocolate chip cookie is that you have to do this part correctly. So if you don't cream correctly, so if you under cream, then your butter will be ice cold still, and you'll still have big chunks of sugar. If you over cream, then basically when you take your paddle here, this mixture will be super, super light, and the paste, it will almost melt. That means that your butter is too soft at that point. So right now our butter is more like room temperature, and so we'll go ahead and move forward with the recipe. Now if you have over creamed your butter and sugar, unfortunately there's no turning back, because once you've over creamed, then the rest of your recipe, even if you try to refrigerate the dough to firm up the fat, even if you try to freeze your dough, it will still spread too much. And so we're trying to make sure that we don't do that, okay? So we're gonna add our eggs here and our vanilla next, okay? And just like I mentioned with creaming method, we have to scrape to make sure that everything gets incorporated properly, okay? So scrape. This side, and make sure I got the bottom. Oh, got the paddle off there. Just put it back. And whatever's on my rubber spatula, I want to grab as well. Okay, here we go. Okay. So all I'm doing is getting the egg and the vanilla incorporated into the sugars. And so we're going to have kind of like a loose cake batter look when this is finished, and then we can add in our dry ingredients. So I'm going to scrape one more time, because as you can see, there's a little bit stuck on this paddle right here, okay? If we don't grab this pocket of butter and sugar, then we'll have one cookie that's just butter and sugar. Now, like I mentioned before, that might sound yummy to some of you, but that is not a good product. That means that distribution is uneven throughout the rest of the cookies. Okay. A little bit more. Want to get it smooth. No big chunks of butter, no big chunks of sugar. All right. So you see here that now it looks more like a cake batter. We're going to add in our sifted dry ingredients, and also I would like to show you our chocolates. Okay, so in your recipe it says that you're going to put two types of chocolate in here. You're going to put 70% and 55%. This is already mixed together, 70% and 55%. So why am I being so much of a Nazi about the chocolate? Okay, notice these are not chocolate chips. Chocolate chips have an added ingredient in them as a stabilizer so that they stay in that chip form. Also, chocolate chips are usually much lower quality chocolate. And that's what really puts this recipe over the top, is that you use amazing chocolate for it. And it melts beautifully, and even if you have the cookie at room temperature, you break it apart and it has kind of that melty quality to it. So we have a combination of a bittersweet variety and a semi-sweet variety, which is the 70% and the 55%. So just to give you an idea about that, we're going to take a little bit of our dry ingredient here, and I'm just going to sprinkle it over the chocolate chips, and this will help so that the chips don't sink to the bottom of our dough, okay? So on low speed, I'm going to go ahead and add in half of my dry ingredients. Okay, again, those were sifted already, making sure we don't have any big chunks. Okay, now we can go ahead and add in the other half, and we are not going to mix it fully, okay? So we're going to take this about 75% mixed, and then we will stop the mixer. And that's about right here, okay? So I want you to see what this looks like. You see we have big chunks of dough, we have a lot of flour right now, and this is exactly what I want to see, okay? If you have your dough completely mixed and then you add your chocolate, you will have overmixed your cookie dough. And overmixed cookie dough results in a dense cookie, which we don't want. And so we want it to have the perfect texture, a little bit chewy, a little bit soft. And so we're going to try our best to achieve that by putting the chocolate in a little early, okay? All right, I'm just trying to get the little pockets off here, and I do have a glove, so it's still very clean. And I'm going to dump in all of the chocolate. And remember that little bit of flour that came with it as well. Okay, now we're going to mix this until we have our homogeneous mixture. Okay, nice low speed. Again, we do not want to overmix. So get it until it looks like the cookie dough that you remember from your past, and then you stop. Look how good that looks. See? We don't have big chunks of flour anywhere. You don't see big pieces of sugar. We scraped really well earlier. And so the good thing is we don't have to keep doing it throughout the process. So now let's scoop. Okay? I want to take the batter off of my paddle attachment here. And I tried it with the rubber spatula earlier, but it took a little too long. So I'm going to do it with my hand. Okay? Now I'm just going to show you how to scoop one or two of them and explain why we refrigerate the dough, and then we'll come back when we're all done. Okay? So I will take and just scrape. Remember how I like to scrape the dough to one side of the mixing bowl, and that way it's easier for me to scoop the dough. All right. So I have a 2-ounce scoop here. This is just the size that I chose. You can choose any size that you would like. If you want giant cookies, you have a bigger one. If you want really, really mini cookies, you have the even smaller one, okay? So we get it nice and flush. Oh, okay, just like this. And we put it here. Just like I mentioned with the previous cookie dough, you can refrigerate or freeze this cookie dough. And we're putting it about 1.5 inches apart to account for any type of spreading. Okay? Now real quick, I want to talk about why we refrigerate this dough. Okay? Even though I have creamed the butter and sugars properly, I want to make sure that I pop it into the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes or so to firm up the fat. It's the exact same principle as we used in the biscuits and the scones when we did those. When you firm up the fat, then when you pop it in the oven, everything will be evenly distributed and even temperature when you bake it. Okay? So we'll come back when this is all done and we'll pop it in the oven. So our chocolate chunk cookies, they have been chilled, and I can tell because when I touch it, it's nice and firm. The butter has firmed up the cookie dough. Okay? Now they are ready to bake. Oven open. Now, you guys always ask me this. How long do they bake? How long till they're done? Okay, use your general rule of thumb here because you have a different oven at home than we do here. I'm probably going to turn this in about 7 minutes, but that's because we have a very strong fan and we have an industrial oven. Maybe for you at home, you have to turn it in 10 minutes. And we're looking for the edges to be nice and crisp, kind of like a snickerdoodle. And the middle to be a little bit soft. That's how we know they're done. Okay. Oven open. Our chocolate chunk cookies are ready. Let's see. How can we tell? We can take our hand and very lightly press on the sides. Okay, you can tell that they're set and they're crisp. And then right in the middle here, you have a little bit of soft dough. Okay, so that's what you want to achieve. The chewy outside and the soft inside, you would take it out now. But if you want to have a crispier cookie, or again, a softer cookie, you would take it to the style that you would like. Okay, but for now, let these cool a little bit and enjoy.